From Independence, Kentucky, it's Sports Without Boundaries with Eric Deters and his sidekick, Nick Batista.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, it's yours truly. The second straight week I'm solo. Why? Nick Batista's still in Aruba. He doesn't care enough about Sports Without Boundaries to come back in time for the second week. Meanwhile, the backup, Steve Cunningham, the Hall of Fame golfer from Campbell County, last week he had a baby. You know what he's doing right now? Fantasy football selections. He thinks fantasy football, Josh Wentz, is more important than Sports Without Boundaries.
That's weak.
I think it's weak, too. A baby, I understand.
Sure.
All right, let's just get right with it. Well, the Cincinnati Reds are kicking some ass this weekend so far. Chicago Cubs. They lost the first game of a doubleheader, won the second game in the ninth inning on a walk-off home run, and then last night they came back. They almost blew it. Friedel should have kept running around third on the hit by Ellie De La Cruz. But guess what? They got great pitching from their ace, and they won. They play a fourth game today. They need to win it as well. They have a tiebreaker now with the Cubs since they won last night. And in addition to that, I think they're only one game out of the wild card. It looks like they're not going to be able to catch the Brewers, but they can win this wild card. They got to get going again. And as I said in this bad losing streak, what did I say? Who have they been missing? Jake Freely in Indy. Who came back against the Cubs? Fraley. What did he do? I think he got 3 hits the second game. Last night he got a couple hits. Got the ninth inning rolling. Jake Fraley's the man. And I tell you right now, when I look at this team, and if they just get to pitching, it's going to be incredible. They have an incredible starting 8 with some depth when they get healthy. I mean, it's unbelievable. And Joey Votto, no way. He can't. They can't bring Joey after getting raped by Joey Votto's contract. They're going to bring him back. And by the way, I still don't understand this. Joey Votto came back with a bang, but then he's fizzled. Dude, fans cheer for Votto. The Reds fans love Votto, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. Votto has raped this team for 10 years. Check out his numbers from when he first signed the contract, 9 years to this second 10 years. It's been awful. Yeah. Now, in addition to that, former Red Luke Weaver, who signed with the Seattle Mariners, made an incredible play off the mound. It's good to see him doing well. All right, Bengals. The Bengals, Joe Burrow is back. Back in practice, back in black. You know what? That's what we need. And, of course, with this 2-week layoff between the last preseason game and not the home opener, but the away opener in Cleveland, he'll be ready. And Nick Batista's Browns are going to lose to our Bengals. The Bengals' 53-man roster is set. Yeah. It's set. All the usual suspects made the team. What else do we have here? Bryce Harper is on a tear. He's now hit his 300th home run. He got there pretty fast. Yeah. Acuna Jr. knocked down by fans in the middle of a game in the outfield. Crazy stuff. They wanted a selfie with him. By the way, last night, speaking of Acuna, Josh, Acuna hit a home run against the Dodgers that went out at 121 miles per hour, the fastest hit of the year, hardest hit of the year, 121. All right, what else? Kershaw, 209 wins, ties Don Sutton of the Dodgers. Kershaw's been a workhorse. California won, after our show last week, won the Little League World Series, beating an island from the Caribbean who only has like 10,000 people, and they had a hell of a team. Back-to-back finals, but California wins. You know what? These little kids, Josh, do not like their governor.
Newsom?
I don't know. I hope these kids aren't Democrat Newsom lovers. They just like baseball. All right, NFL. The NFL is getting ready to kick off. We don't have a lot to talk about the NFL today. Lots of last-minute roster moves and so forth and so on. However, However, I want to point out one interesting cut. The Jaguars head coach Peterson had to cut his own son from the team. How do you like that? How do you like that?
Hey, it's got to happen.
And we got to talk about FC Cincinnati has clinched a berth in Atlanta for the big tournament. Now, let's talk college football. The biggest news in college football, and it is wild, is Deion Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes go into Texas Christian's Stadium, who are ranked 17th. They were 20 points underdogs, and they won in a shootout. During this game, Shedeur Sanders, his son, the quarterback, breaks a Colorado record over 500 yards. And that's something. And in addition to that, I mean, this is crazy. 4 or 5 touchdowns. And Travis Hunter, who was like the number one, he was, when he went to Jackson State with Deion Sanders, was the number one college player. Goes to Jackson State, follows him to Colorado, plays both ways, caught 5 passes, 119 yards, 3 breakups, and an interception on defense at cornerback. I mean, the guy is Deion Sanders. Yeah. Did you know Deion's known that kid since he was 4 years old? I mean, it's pretty wild. But the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders sent a message to college football yesterday. All right, now let's cover some more things. Michigan beat East Carolina 30-3. This is great. McCarthy, the quarterback of Michigan, showed up at the post-game press conference with a T-shirt saying "Free Harbaugh," who's been suspended for 3 games by Michigan. They didn't need him. Tennessee walloped Virginia 49-13. I've already covered TCU. This is embarrassing. Oklahoma 73 over Arkansas State. Iowa beat Utah State. I'm talking about some Ole Miss 73-7 over Mercer. Oregon 81 over 7 Portland State. Yeah. Maybe it's time to end the cupcake games.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Let me see. Ohio State, your Buckeyes, Nick. 23-3 over Indiana. Might be a little worried there, Nico. Texas beat Rice 37-10. Notre Dame 56-3 over Tennessee State. Now, this is a game I want to talk about because I watched it. Alabama. Josh, this is a wild fact. Alabama beat Middle Tennessee. Alabama's new quarterback played really well, Milroe. But this is a wild stat. Alabama's starting offensive line, Josh Wentz, is 6'5", 338. Some of them are 6'7". Do you know what that means? This is a fact. Alabama's offensive line is taller and heavier than any NFL offensive line.
He can recruit.
Isn't that something?
He can recruit, though.
Oh my! Well, you know, these are the 4-5-star offensive linemen. But do you believe that?
That's large.
I mean, they're bigger. They're bigger than the NFL line.
I wonder if they beat
Middle Tennessee lines up against Bama, and they're like, what the hell? We're supposed to fight off blocks from these guys?
I'd like to see Alabama play an NFL team.
Me too.
Would that be fun?
Me too.
I'd just like to
Me too. The worst NFL team.
Right.
Now, people tell me that they would not win.
They're just too fast.
Because the NFL's, but it would still be interesting.
It would be.
All right, Joe Montana. This is interesting. He loves Tom Brady. But he says that the best quarterback of all time to him is Dan Marino, which is interesting because you know who I would take as a quarterback if I had my team? And I've never, despite he's been retired for so long and all the great quarterbacks that have come since, and I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, okay? I would take Joe Montana. He was just a freaking winner.
Yeah, he won. He always won.
He won. All right, Richard Sherman, Michael Irvin, and Keyshawn Johnson are going to be part of this broadcast with, what's it called? Bayless. Yeah. Skip Bayless. You can't make this up. The first show, they have a big old fight, and Sherman and Irvin get into, and they start to walk off the stage and everything. I think it was all contrived. They wanted to have some explosive dynamics going off the.
Yeah.
What's Skip Bayless's show again? I can never think of it.
Damn it.
Pardon the interruption is Kornheiser and those guys.
Yeah.
All right, apparently the Washington Redskins are not, my producer isn't any good today either. I'm just teasing. Redskins are not going to change their name. They're going to stay the Commanders.
Terrible.
The Commanders. What a joke. Didn't that sound like some kind of cartoon character? The Commanders. Yeah. Nebraska volleyball. You ready for this? Nebraska volleyball has 99,000 followers. Who would ever think Nebraska volleyball? ACC is going to add Stanford, Cal, and maybe SMU. This is wild. They might replace SMU already with Army. I don't understand it. Poor SMU's getting kicked around. But Stanford and Cal would get like part of the TV ratings. SMU wouldn't. I don't understand that. John Calipari says the transfer portal is no different than one and done, and I agree. You're one and done with one team. Really neat story. Bill Parcells, and I'll bet you he's one of the few that does this. Bill Parcells apparently in a new book has given out about $4 million to former players of his that have been down on their luck financially and whatnot. How cool of a story is that? Big old tough Bill Parcells, hearted gold for his players. Not unexpected. Right. You know what he says? He goes, those guys bled for me. Yeah. I can help them out. And Iran has banned their weightlifter. Why? Because he shook the hand of a Jew. He shook the hand of an Israeli. What the hell? Yeah. Roger Staubach is expressed, as everybody else did, with Gil Brandt's death. He was the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys forever. You know, two people probably had more influence on how we developed pro football than any others. One is Paul Brown. Mm-hmm. Paul Brown, the guards bringing in the plays, the face guard on the helmets, all these things. Well, Gil Brandt's the guy that created scouting evaluations, led to the combine stuff, tests on players, pretty cool stuff. But Roger Staubach, by the way, who is my all-time favorite Cowboy. Tennis. John Isner, the American tennis player, is retiring.
He lost and he retired.
And you know what? The U.S. Open is still going on. We'll probably have some big news for you next. But, John, I like John Isner. This is a funny story. A young lady worked for me once. Her name was Whitney Eisenman, all right? She loved this guy so much. She'd go out to the Western Southern Open to just see if she could catch a glimpse of him. Yeah. She's now happily married, but she had a big crush on old John Eisner. All right. Simone Biles takes 2 years off, comes back, and wins her 8th national championship. Isn't that amazing?
She's awesome.
She's awesome. Brazilian fitness influencer Larissa Borges, dead at 33. Josh, do you know there's been more people die, young athletes die in the last 3 years than in like 60 years total in the past?
It's every week almost.
You're not going to tell me there's not something going on. All right. Remember, we're sports without boundaries. Nudists started a nude hotel. And guess what? Look at these two folks. They're ugly as hell. Who wants to see these two people naked? My God. By the way, I've told you this, folks, before. I checked out HBO one time on a swingers, kind of goofy, weird, sick stuff. They're all ugly. Hot people don't do this stuff. All right. Cincy has a gay softball team who's in the championship. You know,
there's too many jokes.
Why can't we just have softball players? Right. We got to have gay softball players. They segregate themselves. Yep. Hey, okay, we're politically incorrect. Just imagine they're up to bat. You know, I keep imagining the characters on Color. What's that called? That comedy show where Jamie Foxx, Living Color, where Jamie Foxx played that gay guy. Oh, my God. Yeah. I just picture a bunch of Jamie Foxx characters out there playing. Throwing the ball. Oh, it's funny. All right. Sad story. 2 UK brothers were struck by lightning while golfing. Burger King's getting getting sued. You know why? Okay, the bottom picture is the Whopper they advertise. The Whopper above is the Whopper you actually get. It's a Whopper of a lawsuit.
That's right.
Pun intended.
Yes.
All right, Greenup County, girl. We love Greenup County. We're Kentuckians, and especially Greenup County, the home of Judy. Oh my God! I can't believe I forget her name. I'll admit, I'm getting Alzheimer's. Josie Claire is a national cornhole champ from Greenup County. How do you like that?
Awesome.
How do you like that? All right, Thomas More basketball. There was a little story. I generally don't like mentioning the Northern Kentucky Tribune because nobody cares about them. But they wrote a nice little article about Brian O'Connor, who played basketball at Covington Latin, my alma mater, Thomas More, and got drafted by the New York Knicks. Brian lives in Taylor Mill. He's a good guy. He's like 6'8". You ready for this? When I was a freshman in Latin school, Brian O'Connor was assigned as the senior to be my big brother. And he saved me once from getting the hell beat out of me by the senior lounge. I've never thanked. Judy Phillips was, sorry, Judy, I forgot your name. Judy Phillips is my good friend that grew up in Greenup County. But Brian O'Connor, every time I see him, I still thank him for saving my life. I haven't seen him for a while. All right, you ready for this story? Without boundaries? Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard once got on a boat for a weekend and drank 1,250 beers.
52 cases of beer.
They had to have some friends with them, too. Come on. They couldn't have done this themselves, right, Josh?
No, that's impossible. That's a lot.
I mean, that's a lot of damn beer.
That's a ton of beer.
That's a lot of beer. Well, next week, maybe Nick Batista or Stephen Cunningham will be with me. If not, I'm going to start taking applications to be my co-host with Sports Without Boundaries. And to really make them mad, I think I might take applications of a hot chick. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great one.